ActionSA has fired 2 of its councillors in the Tshwane region based on the outcomes of polygraph tests that were conducted earlier this month. Mandla Mhlana and Mpobaloyi had their membership terminated after it was found that they were in cahoots allegedly with the ANC, EFF and smaller political parties in the council supporting former Mayor Morongwa Makwarela. We're now joined by Michael Beaumont to speak more on this. He's with ActionSA. Michael, thank you very much for availing yourself this morning. What happened?
Well, I think the events of the 28th of February are well noted. A coalition that went to council with a majority awarded to it by the voters of the city of Tshwane lost a vote, and Makwarela became the mayor of the city of Tshwane. Despite the embarrassments that followed for Cope, Makwarela and the other side of the aisle, so to speak, the coalition had to embark upon a very serious investigation to get to grips with 8 councillors from various political parties that appeared to have voted for the other side. And with the due respect required for a secret ballot, which we made sure was central to our investigation, we had to come to grips with what was going on in the space, and we were very concerned about evidence emerging of vote buying in the city of Tshwane. The investigation has ultimately found that these 2 councillors were involved in voting with the other side, that they were not exercising a vote of conscience, and that ultimately we are concerned about the allegations of vote buying, and there can be no tolerance of such a thing in ActionSA.
What was the evidence that suggested that indeed they were found wanting and stepped outside of party lines?
Well, I think a few things. I think firstly, we have a requirement in our interim constitution that councillors wishing to cast a vote of conscience must go through a process where they document their reasonings with the party. That didn't take place. As you correctly indicate, there were polygraph tests conducted, 2 separate rounds of polygraph tests. And on both occasions, these individuals were found guilty. It is important to say, though, that polygraph tests have limitations and they cannot be solely relied upon, and we are aware of that. But further corroborating evidence was found that on the 13th of March, the individuals concerned voted for the ATM candidate for Speaker. But I think if you really want to look at the best form of evidence to suggest that what ActionSA has done is based on the truth, is please look to both councillors who were called into council at the request of the ANC and EFF on Friday, and when the coalition had left the council chamber, attempted to give the ANC and EFF a quorum, which I think is very clear evidence of where they had been working the entire time.
According to a report in the city press by Siviwe Feketa, Mr. Mhlana accuses you more pointedly of giving him a special blue pen to cast his ballot as part of ensuring that the vote was identifiable. He further states that he did not receive a copy of the polygraph test results, according to this report. Your response?
Oh, I think it's quite clear that the individuals concerned were part of an investigation. After both rounds of polygraph tests, individuals were informed of the outcome of the polygraph tests. I personally interviewed the individuals concerned, in which I conveyed both the outcomes and sought to understand why these outcomes were indeed taking place. I think it's also very important to point out, Dudu, that the individuals were not just found through these tests to have voted with the ANC and EFF sponsored candidate, but that both rounds of polygraph tests had revealed that the individuals had been offered and or received financial reward for doing so, which I think is an extra category of concern from an ActionSA standpoint. I think further to that, it's important to note that councillors had volunteered to engage in a process where they could ensure that their votes were accounted for, and at the end of the day, these individuals did not follow through in that particular regard. But as I say, Dudu, I think the very best evidence of what transpired here actually lies in how they behaved after they were dismissed from ActionSA. Because people who are truly aligned to ActionSA and our coalition wouldn't remain in the council trying to give the ANC and EFF a quorum after the council meeting had been walked out of by the coalition.
So you did not give him a special blue pen so his vote can be identifiable?
No, as indicated, the councillors under investigation volunteered to cast their ballot in such a manner that it could be accounted for. There was no such thing as a special blue pen. But at the end of the day, as indicated, the individuals clearly did not vote with our coalition, And once again, come Monday or come Friday, very clear that they remain behind with the ANC and EFF, providing them with a quorum against what they had been instructed to do by the coalition. I think the point here, Dudu, is that there can be no question to the fact that these individuals have been working with the ANC and EFF for some time, and it confirms that our investigation was indeed accurate.
How do you respond to those who say that ActionSA is falling apart at the seams and it would appear as if paranoia is ruling the party?
I would suggest that would be wishful thinking on the part of our opponents. I think ActionSA is very decisive in the way in which we deal with these things, and we're very honest the way we live up to our commitments. We campaigned on the promise to remove the ANC and EFF from government in 2021, and when we have public representatives who betray that commitment, we act in a most decisive manner. In fact, if anything, our message to our coalition partners who too are investigating and acting on their cases is please catch up. But I don't think in any way this can be construed as instability or falling apart. I think what actually brings instability and collapse to new political parties is when they face these kinds of hardships and they aren't decisive in the manner in which they deal with them.
National Chairperson of ActionSA, Michael Beaumont. Thank you.